Queens of the Crusades. Eleanor of Aquitaine and her Successors, 1154 to 1291, by Alison Weir. Narrated by Esther Wane. Introduction. This book tells the stories of the lives of England's queen consorts during the early Plantagenet period, 1154 to 1291. It covers 5 queens. Eleanor of Aquitaine needs no introduction, for she was one of the towering female figures of the Middle Ages and the subject of a biography I published in 1999. Much scholarship has been undertaken since then, and I have revised certain aspects of her story, focusing chiefly on her career as Queen of England. Her daughters-in-law, Berengaria of Navarre and Isabella of Angoulême, deserve to be better known, especially for their careers after the deaths of their husbands, Richard I and King John. The 13th century queens Alienor of Provence and Eleanor of Castile dominated the English establishment for nearly 7 decades. Both were controversial, and I hope I have presented a fair view of them. In regard to the title, Queens of the Crusades, I am aware that only 3 of these queens actually went on crusade, but they lived in an age dominated by the Crusading movement, which touched all their lives. This is the story of the history of England, through the perspective of its queens. But much of the action takes place on a wider stage, for England was just a part of the Angevin Empire, founded by Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine. The book does not comprise a series of biographies, but tells the stories of the queens in a continuous chronological narrative. It is also important to understand how power was devolved in a feudal age. In the 12th century, Europe was a hierarchical society, a patchwork of realms and principalities. There was no concept of nationhood or patriotism. All subjects owed fealty to their immediate overlord and to the king, who was the ultimate secular authority and answered only to God. Fealty was enshrined in the ceremony of homage, in which a kneeling vassal would place his hands between those of his king or overlord and swear to render him service and obedience. In return, an overlord was bound to offer protection and aid. A breach of fealty was held to be highly dishonourable, but feudal oaths were readily broken. English kings, in particular, resented paying homage to French kings for the continental lands they held of them. Feudal vassals owed military service to their lords, supplying knights and men on demand for a certain number of days each year.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?